Welcome to the Spiritual Download, another Tuesday talk. Today we're looking at meditation. So I'm extremely excited about this, one of my recently top passions in life. So I'm going to be sharing with you kind of a quick overview of like what a beginner level of meditation, how that would be, but also discuss mostly intermediate level levels of meditation. So certain practices, for example, that you could use, techniques, and what would be considered intermediate level versus beginner or advanced. I do Tuesday talks at 6:30 every week, so you can join us. Last week we talked about politics because of the election, so you can check that out. Also, another video would be the 15-minute guided meditation that I have on this channel. I made that about 2 months ago. You can check that out. I'm going to be referring to some techniques that I did in that video. I also recommend just to try it out. Again, it's a 15-minute guided meditation. All right, so let's get started here. I have some notes again. And so we're going to start off with how do you know when you're going from a beginner level of meditation to a more intermediate level? Again, these levels can be quite relative depending on opinion, but this is just kind of from my opinion and my experience where you would fit on beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So first to think about here is, do you know how to sit quietly? Do you have experience sitting quietly in silence alone for 10 minutes with your own mind? So a lot of people in life are very, very busy and might not have time to themselves. So a beginner would maybe initially struggle, but then find 10 minutes per day to sit quiet and kind of deal with their own mind. Their own thinking mind will pop up. And so kind of having experience with seeing how your own mind thinks and maybe having struggles through some of that monkey mind, as they call it. So kind of overthinking thoughts and things like this. So 10 minutes of that would be where you're going from very beginning to starting to become intermediate once you've mastered a 10-minute meditation. And mostly meditation would be defined as, we might as well define it, would be sitting quietly. So sitting quietly and with attention and intention in sitting quietly. By doing that, you build concentration levels. So being able to concentrate, as you meditate more, you gain that skill. So you might at work be more mindful at work, and you actually might become more productive each day. So and also you begin to have fewer thoughts throughout the day, fewer worries especially. You generally feel more calm and less worried and stressed in life. When you begin to feel these things and notice this in yourself, you're kind of starting to become more of an intermediate level meditator. Because meditation is not just during those 30 minutes or an hour of sitting and meditating. It's bringing that calmness and peacefulness into your life, into every moment. So that's how by living life in a calm manner, that's how you know that you're making progress with your meditation. So hopefully that keeps you motivated. So next is focusing on the breath. So beginners begin by focusing on the breath. Why? First of all, because it's rhythmic. Second of all, because it's in the core of your body, brings you into your body. And then heavier breathing brings you more into the moment, especially heavier breathing slows down the mind and brings your awareness into the body. So those are a few reasons why beginners should begin with focusing on the breath and being intentional about their breathing. Or maybe sitting down. So this would be a Zen practice, but sitting down for 10 minutes and then sit down and count the number of breaths and then start over once you get to 10. So don't count how many total. you simply do 10 breaths and you start over. And you can do that for as long as you want, between 5 minutes, 15 minutes to an hour, sitting down, counting your breaths. So once you've done these things and you're starting to do this frequently, now you're becoming an intermediate level meditator at this point. It could take anywhere between 1 month to 1 year to ascend the beginner level of meditation. Depending on who you are. If you're a little bit more motivated, it could take you only 1 month to 2 months worth of meditation to start doing intermediate level practices. So what are the intermediate level practices that I have listed here? So yes, these are both techniques and ways and habits. So techniques and habits of intermediate level meditators. The first practice I would like to mention is called alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril breathing. So this I've talked about in the 15-minute guided meditation. I also did a video on alternate nostril breathing maybe 2 years ago. But a quick summary is the general idea that we're doing here is pranayama. So pranayama is getting you into your breath and into your body. And the goal is to really clear out your respiratory system and connecting your breath with your mind and slowing that down. And also sometimes if you do heavy pranayama, it makes you kind of sweat and clear out a lot of toxins in the body. But alternate nostril breathing is a more calming type form of pranayama. So what you do is you're actually using your hand. You're using your hand. And there are multiple ways of doing this, but any way of switching the nostril of your breathing. So usually you start with the right hand, and then you do for a little bit, then you sit, and then you use the left hand, you do the alternate nostril breathing, and then you sit more. So you could do this for anywhere between 1 minute to 15 minutes. Okay, I usually do it for about 6 to 10 minutes. So begin with the right hand. What I do is I bring these 2 fingers to my forehead. This is actually called your third eye. So you bring these 2 fingers to the third eye, and then you use these 2 fingers to go from nostril to nostril. So you start with the thumb, and you breathe in with the left nostril. Then you bring your ring finger, and you breathe out with the right nostril. And then you stay with that nostril. So breathe in, and then switch and breathe out. So this is what 1 round looks like. So that's 1 round of alternate nostril breathing. And I already feel calmer and more mindful just by doing 1 round. So that's alternate nostril breathing. You can do anywhere between 4 rounds to 24 rounds, doesn't really matter. So that's alternate nostril breathing. Next is relaxation of every part of your body. So not just a body scan where you put awareness to every part of your body, but you also intentionally relax that area. And it's not just the muscles, but it's at different parts of the body. So you probably want to start from either the top to your feet or from your feet to your head. And you want to be focusing heavily on your chakra system. So if you don't know what the chakra system is, it's not something to believe, it's something to experience. So just Google chakra systems, you'll see where the 7 chakras are. But basically they're along the spine, your central nervous system, which makes sense both scientifically and spiritually, because your central nervous system is the central part of you. So it's clearing out the stress that's embedded in the central part of you and me, which is the chakra system. But again, science says it's the central nervous system. These two things are synonymous. So you basically bring awareness to your central nervous system, and then to the periphery of your body, eventually to your hands and your feet and your head as well. So, but mainly relaxing places that we're not used to relaxing, such as our stomach, our chest, and our back. So it's kind of easy to relax your hands and your feet because we're more used to that, but especially relaxing things like your stomach might be new. But it really feels good, so you might want to do this towards the beginning of your meditation. Also, alternate nostril breathing is something that you should do if you employ this technique. Do it at the beginning of your meditation. Okay, so let's look at the question here from Emmanuel Roberts. Hello. All right, so when doing a strong determination sit, do you need to focus your mind on anything? Or is the only goal to remain physically still? Yeah, so I used to do determination sitting, and I have not done it in a long time. But yes, the goal is to remain physically still for as long as possible. The mind, in this technique, from my experience, the mind really enters into the moment. So keeping your mind in the moment, in which the easiest thing to do to be aware of the moment is become aware of your body. So remaining aware of your body throughout the sit, and just kind of tough it out through the pain. You're going to feel pain in your body. You're going to feel itches in your body. But learning how to be in the moment and dealing with that stress is the goal. So, yes. Let's see if there's anything. Yes, that's the goal. Good question. Good question. So the next technique is also a technique to do at the beginning of a meditation, which is called grounding and awareness of your environment. So right at the beginning of the meditation, it's really important to sit down and become aware of the environment that you are in through listening. So really closing your eyes and beginning to listen to the sounds in your environment, and then the very subtle sounds within your environment. And then you want to ground by feeling your chair. Probably start with feeling your chair and your body sitting in the chair you're sitting in, or if you're on the floor, feeling the floor, and then feeling your gravitational pull towards the earth through your chair and the ground. So that is grounding. That's also very important. I have a video on grounding as well. So you can search grounding. All right. Next is maintaining awareness at the crown chakra, the top chakra here, and maintaining awareness there for as long as you can. Maybe 2 minutes to 5 minutes of trying to maintain your awareness at the top of your head is a great practice. This is a great practice for having third eye activation as well, because you have chakra number 7 and chakra number 6 at the top of your head, and in your head. You can also become aware of the middle of your head, the middle of your brain. So wherever the crown chakra goes at the top of your head, and directly below that in the middle of your head. Those are good places to maintain awareness, to kind of go into a more transcendent feeling of state of awareness or consciousness. So that's a really good one to help you keep your one-pointed attention as well, is keeping awareness at any chakra. All right, you have a question. Emmanuel Roberts, how do you experience a chakra? Seems like pseudoscience. I would say it's an experience. It's an experience. Like I said, it's a map, but it's not about believing the map. It's about trying to experience it for yourself. But basically, the chakras, were made from people's experience of them through time. So it's just like how we've made a map of the world, or how we've made a map of the human body. the chakra systems are the same. It comes from the scientific method of investigation. So it's investigation into the subtle realms of your body. And these are things that you can experience. It's simply trying and being a scientist and exploring these things. So yes, you can experience a chakra, yes. And so, for example, you can experience your crown chakra right now by maintaining awareness at your head. If you're not experiencing something, just maybe continue trying it and doing it intentionally for 5 to 10 minutes. So really giving it a try, and maybe trying it, maybe 3 or 4 times before we decide whether this is a good practice or I'm not getting anything out of it. So kind of just remain a scientist in your about your meditation practice. Good questions. So, all right. The next technique is something that you do at the end of your meditation. Okay. So the purpose of this is to send peaceful energy to the people in your life and ultimately to everybody. So you can decide whether you want to send positive and peaceful energy to the people in your life or to everybody. So what you do is first of all, why do you do it at the end of your meditation? The reason for that is that the purpose of meditation is to build a sense of peace, calmness, and clarity throughout. You're basically building it throughout the meditation. So whether you're doing it half hour or 15 minutes, you're building more peacefulness through that time. And so at the end, you've kind of tuned up the sense of peace in yourself, and then you want to send that out to everybody, but yet maintaining the peacefulness in yourself, because we are connected. So it's not like, all right, I've charged up all this peace and I'll send it out. What's actually that you're connecting your peacefulness to other beings. So how you do this is you put your hands together at your heart center. So this is your heart chakra. So at your sternum, and you put your hands here, right? And you would focus your attention at the heart chakra, and then you also begin to think about the people in your life, and then you imagine white, kind of a white light like the sun shining out from your heart chakra out to those people. So it's kind of like an imagination, but you're imagining that the peace that you've created in the meditation goes out to other people from your heart chakra, like the sun. It kind of streams out, so and shines. So next question: what do you think about psychedelics? Are they dangerous for an undeveloped brain? The brain only fully develops at age 25. I think that psychedelics in small doses can be very helpful, but in a very safe environment. The age of 25, yeah, I would say that it's better if you're over 25 for sure. I think that would be safest near the age of whenever you're in your mid-20s. All right, next. So next is putting awareness back to your central nervous system, and you go from the top all the way to the bottom. So all the way to your tailbone, and then all the way to the top of your head. So you have your spine, and you're imagining energy going up and down your spine. So the energy is actually, so imagine like a light, but also liquid. So it's like liquidy light. So imagine liquidy light going up and down the tube of your spine. So imagine a straight tube in your spine, and the liquid, the spiritual liquid, the light liquid is going up and down your spine. And so you're closing your eyes and imagining this, and then you make it a rhythmic connection with your breathing. So you would breathe in and bring that energy up to the top of your head, breathe out, and then bring that energy down. So you connect the breath with the imagination of the energy going up and down your spine. Okay. Next is expansion of awareness. So one way to really calm down is to expand your awareness by first becoming aware of, well, whether if you're inside, it's a little bit of a disadvantage, but you have to imagine like everything is outside. Even if you're in your house, imagine that there's no difference between being inside or outside, because you need to become aware of the sky. So expanding awareness, you can actually start with the crown chakra at the top of your head, but then putting your awareness to the sky. And so during the day, you put your awareness to the expansive blue sky. If you're at night, now you're imagining your awareness out in the stars, out in outer space. So you're really feeling the idea of infinity, of infinite consciousness. So you expand your awareness to the energy of the sky, or the energy, and really imagining that you actually are becoming aware of that hugeness. It should calm your central nervous system down quite a bit by doing that. This is also a really good practice for doing at the beginning of a meditation. So, all right, so next is not a technique, but this is like a characteristic of intermediate meditation, is to go beyond your scientific skepticism. So it's really important to, at some point, acknowledge that consciousness is inherently spiritual. is to begin building your spirituality and going beyond the scientific, materialistic skepticism lens of the world, which is where you see everything as a machine, or not machines, but in a machine-like way, and that there's no spirituality in life. Okay. Through meditation, you'll begin to see kind of the magic of reality, or the spirituality piece of reality. So beginning to get in touch with just beyond the idea of quiet mindfulness, and that all of this is happening in the brain. It's actually happening in your awareness, and your awareness is spiritual. So trying to see that you are an inherently spiritual being, and that reality itself is inherently spiritual. That's a very important barrier to get out of from your belief system. So it's not just about doing the meditation, it's also about diving into what do you believe as well. So not leaving anything out of the question. You begin to see that meditation turns into spirituality, and then spirituality becomes everything in your life. So next is a technique, but more of a general technique, is heavy focused intentional breathing. We talked about that in the beginning level, but then actually being more intentional about your breathing. Just being more intentional about your breathing is important. And breathing towards the back of your throat actually is a good way to do that. So breathing all the way into your belly. So taking really big, calm breaths, more in the back of your throat. Really brings you into the moment, and you're very intentional about it, and you'll be able to actually build more energy, not just spiritual energy, but like actual, like physical energy in your body. And you might actually begin to sweat a little bit if you continue the breathing for an extended period of time. So related to that is bringing energy into the body, is by doing yoga or qigong. So qigong is a type of Tai Chi, really. I think it's, from my experience, the most calming form of Tai Chi. So qigong is a great physical / spiritual practice, such as yoga. Yoga is spiritual / physical, and not just doing that, but also doing exercise. So I have a video. I have two videos. One is spirituality and exercise. The other one is spirituality of running. So those are two videos that I go in depth about this. But maintaining a good exercise practice is important. And the goal is to let energy, both physical and spiritual energy, flow through the entirety of your body. So that's what we do with the relaxation in every part of your body. But now, through exercise and yoga, you're clearing out and letting energy flow through the entirety of your body. And this clears out your chakra system. So it clears out not just the periphery of your body, it clears out the central part of your body as well. One thing that many Americans do and Europeans is continue drinking a lot of caffeine and drinking coffee while they're doing their meditation practice, or while they're becoming a beginner and an intermediate level meditator. So I would say one important thing is trying to reduce the amount of caffeine that we're drinking. You just see that once you start doing that, that your heart area is much more relaxed throughout your day, which means that in general, you're feeling less stress throughout your day. And I can tell you this from experience. I was very addicted to coffee. I would say 2 years ago, and then even up to last year, right when COVID happened, my work shifted to home. And so I just decided, okay, I don't need to motivate myself to wake up in the morning, go get a cup of coffee and get to work. Now I don't need the coffee to motivate myself at work anymore. So that was a great feeling. I switched to like green tea, and then switched to mostly herbal tea. And now I kind of go back and forth. I do drink some chai tea, chai tea, and black tea sometimes, but not every day. But green tea and herbal tea most days. Another habit and not a non-technique of intermediate meditation would be how you position your body. So I'm looking at my meditation chair for sitting up, which keeps me upright. Some other people like to lay down, and that's equally okay, because laying down on a very flat surface and a really hard surface, so I would say laying down on the floor is probably the best option. Meditating in bed is okay. Really, the best way to do that is just before sleeping, before you go to bed, or right when you wake up in the morning. You can meditate in bed for maybe 10 minutes. But I would say the best meditations are when you're seated up, probably, and then second is when you're laying on the floor. And when you are positioning your body, be aware of your legs, and whether if you're sitting with your legs crossed and they're starting to either fall asleep, or your knees hurt, or your hips hurt, then your body's not ready to sit in that position for an extended period of time, and you should consider sitting in a regular chair. And there's nothing wrong with that, first of all. So we learn to not judge ourselves for not being flexible. Plus, we just admit to ourselves that it's not our fault, because it was us who grew up at school, and we were forced to sit in chairs for 8 hours a day. So our hips are used to sitting in a chair position and not in a cross-legged position on the floor. And so, the goal is to relax the body and let blood flow throughout the body. And eventually, the body just becomes lighter and less heavy. So that's the goal, is basically to become more aware of your awareness itself, rather than always being, having the body and send pain messages or stress messages to your mind. You're actually being able to relax all of that and then bring your awareness into the moment. So now the next thing to think about is the length of your meditation.
noticeable difference when all Wi-Fi and electronics are off?
Yes, good. Chandler Brady, good point. So when you meditate, you do want to have a timer, most likely, unless it's the weekend, you don't need a timer. But during the day, it's good to try and meditate. During the weekday, you might be busy. That's one thing. So you need to be aware of when you need to stop meditating. But also, keeping track of the time is important in meditation because you want to do a consistent time and you want to know about how long certain phases are. Basically, once you get past the beginner stage, you can either consider doing 15 minutes or a half hour or 45 minutes or an hour. And then that begins to go to hour and a half, then 2 hours, 3 hours. So it's really like the way that when you sleep, you have different phases of sleeping. You have 90-minute dream cycles. I feel like that's very similar in meditation. You start off with 15-minute meditation cycles. It's kind of like an exercise when you hit a second wind, and then sometimes you even hit a third wind. That's true in meditation. So really, in general, the longer you go, the more you'll get out of your meditation, but you also don't want to push it. So when your body is beginning to feel very uncomfortable, I would say now your body is distracting you from your mindful state. So that's saying that your body's not ready for that length of time for meditation yet. So you need to either continue practicing or consider changing positions of your body. Like if you're laying on the floor and you're beginning to fall asleep by the half-hour mark, consider sitting in a chair. So because it might keep you awake longer. Or if the chair is uncomfortable for your back, then consider lying on the floor for 15 minutes or an hour, or something like that. So length of meditation. So I would say, in general, keep pushing it as the long-term goal and with length of time, but also don't push yourself too hard. Don't just kind of find a nice balance. Really, trust your instinct and trust your awareness. It'll kind of, as you begin to listen to those things, you'll begin to intuitively feel how long you should be meditating for. Okay. For me, sometimes I do 17-minute meditations, just so I have, a minute in the beginning, then I have the full 15-minute meditation, and then a minute at the end to kind of continue on with my day. So I do 17-minute ones. I like to do 38-minute meditations. I also like to do 45-minute ones, and then I like to do 55 minutes to an hour as well. I've done 90-minute ones. For me, I'm pretty busy, so I don't do 90-minute meditations, but I've done them before. It's a little bit hard to do that only in one position. So I would say changing positions, like going from a chair to laying on the floor, is okay, and that can be considered one meditation. All right, Chandler Brady. Yes, I feel like the goal is to recognize your thoughts as they come and realize you don't need to respond to them. Yes, good, correct. And you begin to see like which thoughts are very egoic and which thoughts come a little bit more from your heart, so that you can respond a little bit more to like your instinct or your heart more often than your overthinking mind. And yeah, you become aware of the difference pretty quick. And so, yes, so the next point, just a few more points here, is that strong emotions will arise in your meditation, mostly, and then sometimes outside of your meditation as well in life. So strong emotions will happen mainly because they've been stuck in our central nervous system or in our body for so long. Maybe these like traumas or stories or feelings in the body, and then they get released through meditation, through relaxation of that part of your body. And so the emotions get released, and we want them, yes, to be released and let go of, right? But you still feel the emotion as it goes out, and you try and fully feel the emotion, because and you embrace it, and that's how it gets released, is by embracing it. So this is not a bad thing. So feeling emotions is important. Feeling them fully is very important. So it's actually a sign of progress on your meditation path to experience these things. It's a sign of progress. So just be in the moment and fully feel the emotions that are there, and then let them go, and then recenter yourself in your peaceful awareness. That's kind of the process throughout the day, is to deal with the moment, then deal with the emotion, and then return to your mindful state of calmness and peacefulness. Okay, and one of the good ways to do this is by observing the emotions, simply observing them, and noticing what kind of emotion is this? How does it feel? Do I need to engage with the story of the emotion? Really, with the emotions, there's a story attached to it, and the raw feeling of the emotion in the body. So you can actually disengage the story from the feeling. So you'll see the story arise in your mind as you're feeling it in your body, and then you don't need to respond to the story, but you love the emotion and you let it go. You let it go, because it was never yours to hang on to in the first place. Because we are meant to be peaceful and in the moment, and I would say a child of God, or you could say an important aspect of the everything, the all-encompassing consciousness or oneness. And you are important, and we want you to be as healthy spiritually and physically as possible. So there's no need to hang on to painful emotions. It's important to feel them as they are there, but not hang on to them, not hanging onto them. So, and then observe and notice the mind as well. So that's the story aspect, and that's where some of us believe that's where the me is the thinking mind. Oh, that's me, my thinking mind, my preoccupation, my worries, my agenda in life, my judgments towards myself and other people. This overthinking mind is sometimes how we identify ourselves as me. And being able to observe it is called metacognition. So that's a great step, is noticing the mind. Next habit is to make meditation a habit. Make meditation a habit. So spirituality, yes, it's about having big spiritual experiences. Absolutely. Those are life-changing, and you'll never forget those big spiritual experiences. But meditation tunes our mind, sharpens our senses, and strengthens and gets our body healthy. So then we can have and hold on to those experiences for longer, or basically the soul or spirit of those experiences seeps into the cells in our body, and we can actually embody those things and feel those things rather than just see them and then they leave. Those beautiful spiritual experiences. Next comment. Meditation can help us tune into the minds of others and receive downloads from those trying to contact us. Yes, absolutely. And being able to feel into other people and feel into their energy, their spirit, and feeling into how they feel, whether they're feeling sad or happy or lonely. You begin to feel that emotion as well in yourself. That's called mirror neurons, but not just that in science, but not just that, you begin to feel into it, how they feel, and it makes you empathetic. But you actually you can actually be an open, caring person rather than having their emotions drain your emotional body. It's actually providing them a loving space for them to be themselves, and to express maybe the pain, but eventually the pain leaves and they then become fully themselves within that space. But your job is to provide that space for them, but also provide that space for yourself, and you build that through meditation. So very important, very, very important. So again, building meditation as a habit, so you can actually not just have those experiences, but you become calm and peaceful in your body, and that becomes a habit itself. It becomes more frequent, a more percentage that you're in a calm, peaceful state than not. So it just kind of goes from 10% then to 90% through your meditation practice, is that feeling of peaceful mindfulness and appreciation of just life itself. You begin to go from a calm mind to appreciation of existence. So that would be beginning to build up towards a more advanced state of awareness, or advanced practice of meditation, is when is the feeling of just gratitude for life itself, gratitude for the existence of your body, gratitude for the birds, gratitude for even going to work, gratitude for waking up in the morning, gratitude for that drink of water. All of these things that are given to us, and we give thanks for those things, is you're starting to really, really, really build your spiritual practice and spiritual self. And that's a beautiful place to be in. So that's kind of the beginnings of a more advanced stage. The last thing is, I want you to think about, what is your goal? What is your short-term goal with meditation and spirituality? And then what is your long-term goal with meditation and spirituality? Okay. For a lot of people, it's in the beginning, I want to start to feel calmer. And in the end, in the long-term goal, is I want to experience non-dual realization, or I want to become enlightened, or I want to communicate with my ancestral spirits, or things like this. Those are things that have maybe in our long-term goal. But again, how do you achieve? How do you achieve to get to those long-term goals, right? Yes, you might have big experiences along the way and feel like you've made it, but there's always more out there. There's always more love to be had, more peace to feel, and more space for our awareness to expand to. So that's what is beautiful with the path, is even though you feel like I've had the realization, it just continues. It just continues. So also loving that process as well. But in the end, it's okay to have a goal that might sound selfish, like, oh, I want to have more money. I want to be a more successful person. That's okay. But then eventually, hopefully, it becomes like, oh, I want to be more peaceful and provide that peaceful space and send out that peaceful energy to the world. And now you're starting to become a Buddha. So that's something that you can think about for the long term, is becoming a Buddha. So with that said, let's see if there's another question. Yeah, so Chandler. Good. So Chandler's goal is unity with God, source, and revelation. Good. Good. Yes. Hopefully the truth and love of God is revealed to your soul. And that we all experience this as well, as the source of God, and that area of loving awareness. So that's it. So this is another way that you can finish your meditation. It's heart center, and imagining the peaceful energy that you feel spread across your environment and throughout humanity. Okay, so I want to send that love to you, and have a good rest of your night. I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now. Bye.